Hello, this is my presentation. Um, it's about nutrition. Uh, Title of it: Eat Good to Feel Good. Okay, let's begin. So, first off, I'll be focusing in the San Fernando Valley, one specific school. It's a middle school, ages 11 through 14. That's generally the target population I'm going to be working in. The SPA is number 2, as you can see right here. We are focusing on nutrition because we feel there is a big disparity when it comes to racial and ethnic communities when it comes to health, especially with nutrition. If you can just notice here that you don't think about it, but percent of children whose families eat meals together every day, among all the SPAs, San Fernando Valley ranked the lowest with about 57%. The importance of eating with your family can make a big difference when it comes to eating healthy, especially when it comes to like drinking soda or having the necessary fruits and vegetables, which is fairly low among all the other SPAs. And this was my footnote. All right, some facts. So the prevalence of obesity is around 18.5%. This is primarily among our target population, that generally accounts for about 13.7 million children. The prevalence of obesity, pretty much between people who are 6 to 11-year-olds, is about 18.4%, and then 12 to 19-year-olds, about 20.6%. And this also becomes when I brought up about the disparity and like the differences. There's a 33% difference in prevalence when comparing minorities to non-Hispanic whites. That's a big difference for two ethnic backgrounds, if you say black or white. Some other issues when it comes to nutrition, with the lack of nutrition, my apologies, high blood pressure and cholesterol, which leads to cardiovascular disease. You have an impaired glucose tolerance, which means you tend to eat a lot more bread than your like necessary consumption. Insulin resistance, which is what leads to type 2 diabetes, when you have to get insulin injected. Low self-esteem, lower quality of life. Obviously, most people who are heavier usually see themselves not fit to the status quo. And asthma and sleep apnea are just a couple things where you have trouble breathing. Also, sleep apnea is when you're sleeping and like people tend to snore. Sometimes snoring also is induced by family inheritance, like genetics. But if you have an unhealthy diet, it does raise more risk for those. And just FYI, for your information, all the bottom are my resources for the footnotes. So, some resources and assets that are offered. I tried to look for one within the San Fernando Valley, which was the Pacoima Family Resource Center. And they do offer free health education classes and there are free screenings. And obviously, it's in the area, but at the same time, there are some barriers when it comes to that, such as getting to that area. Some people or some family members can bring their children to go here all the time. So my effort in this program is to make it with as much ease and as much access to it as possible, which is why I would set up base at the school. Community needs. There should be efforts throughout school districts for healthy eating. This can go for snacks or even just the lunch that they offer. Not only to prevent those from obesity, but to aid those currently affected by it. So the information is generally for the school itself. Primarily, I want to focus on those who are affected by obesity or that they just have unhealthy nutritional needs, or students that are on the verge of getting there. Access to wager-friendly foods, which primarily dictates that not all healthy foods are expendable. Some people can afford it, it doesn't seem like it's an effort. I feel like most districts focus on the cheaper the better, no matter the healthy need. Like I rarely, when I was in middle school, I rarely ever seen a salad. Like they didn't really offer a salad. If it was a salad, it was like three pieces of lettuce and some ranch, which doesn't make it any better. And this was just a quote that I got from Minkler. With respect to obesity, health, lifestyle, knowledge of with respect to obesity, health, lifestyle, knowledge of healthy body weight. That's just something we need to understand, that it's we know of it, but sometimes we don't. When it comes to health, we don't primarily intentionally shoot to always like defecate it. Okay, so these are some effort. These are some interventions and strategies that I had found. I'm gonna start the one on this one because I just found out that it isn't funded anymore, but the idea was great. Community prevention put to work, a school-based intervention that would focus on improving nutrition and increase physical activity. It was provided to around 50 counties around the country. One implementation was in Kent County in Washington. They implemented farm to school programs, which would definitely bring an increase when it comes to nutritional value, because now you have your schools working with your farms rather than big food corporations only working with farms when it came to meat and vegetables, adding additives and conservatives into your foods. $140,000 worth of local foods are introduced to cafeteria menus. That's amazing, to give an alternative for us to eat. And there were efforts through this program that happened within the school. So through the high school, they created the initiative Commit to Fit. And that program is still going through. But a program that we are still funding is called the Racial and Ethnic Approaches to Community Health, a program that is administered by the CDC to reduce any and all racial and ethnic health disparities. This is the health gap is necessary for the CDC to achieve a full healthy life for all people. This is just to ensure that people aren't hindered to progress through their healthy lifestyle because of their background, because of their race, because of their income status. Nothing should hinder an individual to a healthy lifestyle. They also allow funding through community-based organizations, health departments, universities, and even tribes. Community mobilization. So first, I wanted to start with a quote. Without a strong commitment to real community participation, we risk undermining our future efforts and dissipating the often fragile trust that communities invest in us. This is by all and end all be the fact, because if we lose the trust of the community, then we don't